Hello and welcome to M3 Live. I'll be your host, Malcolm Travers. Male Media Mind is a grassroots organization dedicated to uplifting and unifying the Black Bear community through dialogue, insight, creativity, and knowledge. And every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I invite my friends to discuss what's going on in the world, help me try to process everything that's going on, because I read a lot of shit, and it goes in one ear out the other. So it's great to get everyone's input who's on this panel, as well as those in the audience. So let me first introduce you to the panel, and then we'll talk about the topics we're going to get into. The talented Mr. Drayton is joining us today. What's going on, Greg?
Hola. We try to come in at 6, but I live in Atlanta. Traffic.
Yes.
Everywhere. I am so sorry.
Yes, and Uncle Derek is joining us from Chicago.
Howdy.
Soon to be New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the news and you're good.
And I won't be Uncle Derek anymore. So who will I be next?
You will always be Uncle Derek. Because people may not know this, Malcolm, but Uncle Derek gives marvelous advice. He does.
Yeah.
He shares great life experiences.
And that's one of the reasons why we're here, basically, to give some advice. I steal a lot of questions, by the way, from a lot of advice shows and stuff like that. And it's always good to get everyone's opinion on it, because, we all have our own life experience, perspectives, and so forth. So we're going to revisit.
But where you get those questions from, Malcolm? Are they focused, viewed, skewered towards the Black gay bear experience?
No.
Then it doesn't matter where you got the questions from, because the answers are going to be funky fresh.
No.
Yes, that's true. That's a good point.
I get mine from when I host.
I said that's why I said Malcolm, because I know where Greg gets his questions from.
Yes.
Yes.
Mine.
Children all over again.
Yeah, so I have a few sources. One, I'm a little obsessed with TikTok now. For the past year or so. So I got a TikTok video. There's a guy on there called Therapy Jeff, not to be confused with Font of Wisdom Jeff, who's not here, but White Jeff, therapist Jeff. I'm obsessed with this, because the reason why is that he packs so much information into such a short, video.
This is
so so we're gonna continue to unpack one of these, and we're gonna continue. It was on relationships, the measurements of relationship success. And it was a response to another video that was talking about external measurements of relationship success, which had to do with how long you've been in a relationship, how long it was a lot of outside in versus inside out. So let me play the video real quick. And I'm going to talk about the 5 through 10 on this list. This is a short video.
15 measurements of relationship success. Do you both agree on the priority level of the relationship? Do you feel secure? And if you feel insecure, can you bring it up and get reassurance? Are your intentions loving? And do you give each other the benefit of the doubt? If possible, do you give each other quality time every day? Are you emotionally attuned to each other? Do you feel safe to express your emotions? Do you have good balance between doing things together and doing things apart? Do you feel safe expressing your opinions when they're different? Do you know what's going on daily in each other's lives? Can you have respectful disagreements and then repair without lots of resentment lingering? Do you agree that staying connected is more important than being right? In the bedroom, it's not just about finishing. You take your time and consider your partner's pleasure. You anticipate your partner's needs and feel good about meeting them. You actively support each other's goals and dreams, even if that means making a personal sacrifice sometimes. You feel challenged in a healthy way to become your best self.
Yeah. So that was 15 things. We went over the first 5 last Wednesday. And truthfully, we could skip those and talk about those in the Patreon after show. Sometimes when we get to the after show, we don't actually have any topics. I thought about that, because I actually have a chuck full of topics that we can discuss right now. The next one, obviously, I want to talk about.
Well, I just want to point out on that video, because he did 10 things. That was 10 things, right?
15.
That was 15 things. Oh, I'm 14 out of 15. Okay. I can say yes.
Yeah.
Literally, I can honestly say yes to 14 of those things.
Yeah. And I think it is good. I wish I had the other video, which was like maybe 10 signs that are not measurements of relationship success. And the funny thing is, I remember one of them being how long you've been in that relationship. And I said that generally I think of that as a marker of relationship success, but clearly that's from the outside in.
I think that's I don't think that's a good measurement. I've known people who have been in a relationship for 20 years, but it's a horrific relationship, and y'all really should take a potion to forget each other and move on. But you haven't.
Right.
So that does not make a good relationship just because you can withstand the test of time with a motherfucker sitting next to you.
Yeah. So actually, I have a call about that. If we want to talk about that, I want to let you guys choose what we talk about first. So I actually have a call from the Savage Love cast about a woman who is in a long-term companionate relationship. Just basically, they haven't had sex in the past 10 years. I think they've been together like 30 years or something, which was one. I want to talk about something spiritual. So as we talk about a lot about mental health, but I think spirituality has a great deal to play in how we deal with recovery and health. So
I vote spiritual.
Yeah. So I mean,
Greg, which one do you vote?
What are my choices?
You want to do the spiritual topic first?
Yes.
Okay. So this we've talked about this before. Talking about our ideas, our conceptions of God. So like if you go into AA or I went into a program for people dealing with mental health that's based on AA. They want you to give up your power to a higher power, in order to surrender and to accept the things you can't change. That's basically the idea. And so in order for you to surrender, you kind of need to give it up to something. And this is your higher power or God or whatever. So it's a good idea to have a concept of God. That's kind of what I want to talk about, like different concepts of God. So typically in the Western theology, our concept of God is either like a king or a father. It's like the person who looks after you, gave you life, cares about you, loves you, is a stern disciplinarian or, ruler. Oftentimes when, in Western religion, when you pray, you kneel as a sign of respect, it's a hierarchy, right? The God above you. And I think I want to talk about a different perspective of the God within you. And so I'm going to play this is from Alan Watts. Let me play this real quick.
So, say in Hindu mythology, they say that the world is the drama of God. God is not something in Hindu mythology with a white beard that sits on a throne and that has royal prerogatives. God in Indian mythology is the self. Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would, naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea, then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not. And it's perfectly okay to pretend you're not. To be absolutely convinced, because this is the whole notion of drama. When you come into the theater, there is a proscenium arch and a stage, and down there is the audience. And everybody assumes their seats in the theater and are going to see a comedy, a tragedy, a thriller, or whatever it is. And they all know as they come in and pay their admissions that what is going to happen on the stage is not for real. But the actors have a conspiracy against this because they're going to try and persuade the audience that what is happening on the stage is for real. They want to get everybody sitting on the edge of their chairs. They want to get you terrified or crying or laughing. Absolutely captivated by the drama. And if a skillful human actor can take in an audience and make people cry, think what the cosmic actor can do.
So that was Alan Watts. It's from a collection of lectures that I was listening to, and I don't know how I ended up, running into it, but he is kind of responsible for a lot of like the beatnik culture in the '60s. Like he was, studied Eastern religion, moved to California. I think he taught at Berkeley, and a lot of that shit just kind of permeated the culture without,
He appropriated somebody else's philosophy and was able to sell it to other white people.
Basically, yeah. I think he was originally, an ordained priest, so he was at a church, and I think he, left the church and started teaching theology at Berkeley or something like that. And this was like the way, a lot of white people encountered Eastern theology. Yeah. So, but obviously, like you can run to it yourself. I think a lot of it permeates our culture anyway, even, rippling through a lot of that. Right. So like what he was talking about in that little clip, the drama of God is known as samsara, and the, I think we talked about it before, about the concept of nirvana, enlightenment is not gaining this great amount of knowledge and leaving the theater, so to speak. It's just giving up, in a sense, giving up the need to know, or the desire to know more, or to be entertained more. And I mean, that's a different concept. Like people, I don't know. Like I think it is touched a lot of different, ideas of spirituality through people like himself, or like I said, like the the sort of hippie culture of the '60s. Let me see. I had a few notes that I took on what I was going to say about it.
While you're checking your notes, do we have any comments?
No, but so let me just, while you're doing that, let me just chime in. The concept of God is in oneself is probably one of the older religious beliefs, the Hindu. Anything generally BC, before the Christian Crusades, most religions were pagan, and those religions were, and then if you weren't pagan, which believed in blacker or darker arts and darker things, but then the self-taught, because then you have the Chinese who kind of invented the thoughts of most things, like a concept of God. So I watch a show called, what is it, Ancient Aliens or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
How pyramids and things got built before the technology to build them. So some cultures, it is too still. That God was an alien, or God was a.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
Yeah, I've seen a few science fiction shows explore that aspect.
I mean, something great, bigger or greater or than us had to create something. But
Yeah, there is that possibility, or the possibility that there has always been something.
Well, speaking of, did you all see? Because this is somewhat related. Did you all see that the Pentagon, was it somebody? They had a whole Senate hearing about the 700 UFOs that they actually have information about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I didn't. What was said?
Well, they have all this video. The government, because it's becoming, because the whichever department deals with terrorist stuff,
Homeland Security.
is taking, they're actually taking this seriously. This is all the government stuff that, well, I'm sorry, this is the government stuff that they presented in a Senate hearing where they have 700 different confirmed sightings, video footage that was taken by the government. This is not, Bill and Willie out back of UFOs.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. And the funny thing is, of course, I like playing with the beliefs of God and, even anything, spiritual or extraterrestrial, whatever. The only thing is I tend to play around with it, like I'm not taking it that seriously. I'm playing around with it like as an intellectual exercise, right? Trying it on, seeing if it fits, seeing, what is interesting about it. And, my problem with discussing God and spirituality on so many levels has just been how seriously and how sensitive people can be about it, and to me it's kind of fun, thinking about infinite things. So like I remember thinking about like I was going through my notes and one of the discussions talking about like infinity. We often think of infinity going out, which is why we think of God being on high, but infinity goes inward as well. Like when we think about like trying to find the smallest subatomic particle, which we would call the atom, it doesn't exist. Like you could just divide particles and energy infinitely. There's no bottom. It just goes all the way down. So that's fucking crazy, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Or think about it like this: they say, try to think of a circle. A circle has a center with a radius. That's the distance between the center of the circle, the radius, being outside. Imagine an infinite circle, one with a infinite radius, which is basically impossible because there would be no center. Like the line that is the radius needs to stop somewhere.
Right.
That's
like space, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that's why there's no center of the universe, because it's expanding infinitely. There's no center. Like it's just you would never be able to determine where the middle of the universe is because it's expanding infinitely.
That's just like, I mean, to some type of agreement that God is a thing that lies within us all. I was raised Pentecostal, now Catholic, which is couldn't be two things that be more polar opposite from the other. But so, and this is going to sound weird, and I feel like God's going to strike me or something. But now there's two separate ways I think about religion. Now, my spiritual mind says, bearded Jesus sits on high and judges on low. But my scientific mind knows that when life ends, it's like The Soprano, it just goes to black. We are organic matter that goes back into the earth, and we are blessed with 70, 80, 90, 100 years, and it reverbs into time. We just become a part back to the organic matter that we came from. So, and I kind of live. So, there's I don't want to talk about this today, but anyway, so like there's a belief that religion was created by the masters from the serfs and the slaves back in that time, because it's often said in the Bible, your just desserts won't be reached in this world, but in the next. And that was just designed to get them to do more work.
Yeah.
And then you bring it back full circle to the 1800s AD, and the Bible in those words are yet again used to enslave people. So there's absolutely two ways to look at that, and so I often struggle with it myself, with my knowing scientific mind and my spiritual self. So people that believe in something like religion tend to live longer. So what I mean, like it gives you hopeful things, and not, what I'm saying, it gives you some things to hope for. Like the first thing, when trouble comes, we say, praise God. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. What I'm saying? Or when something bad happens in the world, the universe, that we don't understand. It's God's. It's good. But
no, I think it is important, though. It is.
It's very important. But speaking of God's, we kind of skipped over the news today, and I just want to, if we could, just have like 10 seconds of silence for those 10 people that lost their lives in Buffalo. I know it was a triggering moments for all of us, and it's what do I say about? See, I don't want to use the white S word and give it weight or give it any gravitas or give the situation any
it's the white S word.
Supremacy.
Oh.
But I don't want to give it any gravitas.
But you're not giving it anything. It is what it is. You got to call a thing. We have to agree on certain things. Yeah. We need white supremacy is real and it's out here. You can call it a bagel, but it's still white supremacy. Do I believe they are supreme over me? No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
That's the reason why. That's why I kind of feel like.
Yeah, no, I think I actually want to get into that. That's one of the topics that I was going to bring up. Was I will play the little clip that I had later, but I think. One of the things I think what we talked about it off camera was I have been actively trying to avoid any news coverage of the shooting itself because it was triggering for me. And I couldn't avoid it, and I did, and it sucks. But I think there are some interesting things that I would love to get both of your opinions on. Okay. And that is the idea of terrorism. And our models of what terrorism is. So, like one of the first things I saw on TikTok were how people were criticizing Biden for saying, like, America is not a hateful country. This is something that all politicians say. They say it because they have to. Just be real.
I agree.
But one of the things he did say that I was happy to hear was to call it terrorism. And in fact,
why did he have to say it?
He didn't have to say it, is what I'm saying. But it is terrorism, and they should call it. It's like the bare minimum.
No. That part. No. You said that America's not a hateful country, but he has to say that. Why does he have to say
that? To keep your job. I mean, like if you want to be a martyr, yeah, you could. Because it is basically the anti-Trump thing to do.
Well, you have to lead. You have to lead the positive light. I agree.
Yeah, you're basically just trying to be the healer in chief or whatever. You're trying to say
you can't be the. But and again, I'm going to go back to what I said about white supremacy. Until you call a thing, you can't deal with it. So you're ignoring it by saying. America's not a hateful country. That's bullshit. I know that, you know that. But until the leader of the country says it's no, this
Yeah,
motherfucker
America's based on
is
hate. Yeah.
dangerous to people of color. Then I don't need to feel good. I don't need kumbaya. I don't need holding hands. We've been holding hands for years.
I agree. I'm saying that it's not going to happen, and it sucks. I do agree with that, and it's not something I would expect from someone. I would say, though, the bare minimum that he did about calling it terrorism was interesting because it does follow into this thing that I went down the rabbit hole of linking it back to January 6th. So it's something that that I'm sure is going to come out in reports later. The Homeland Security made the point that the fact that no one's being held accountable for January 6th is going to inspire other people to commit acts of terrorism based in white nationalism. Mm-hmm. And from people going through this person's, manifesto and logs and stuff, clearly see that is the case.
Yeah.
And not only that, there are, the reports that I was listening to say that there have been at least 160 mass shootings since January 6th inspired by January 6th.
Yeah.
This is just the one that we're paying attention to. There have been something like 220 mass shootings in the United States.
There was 5 shootings over the weekend. When this
exactly. On average, around 10 shootings a week in the past year. So the fact is, there's just so many of them that we cannot possibly pay attention to them all. It wouldn't even be healthy.
Sure we can. I mean, we can't give them.
Yeah, we can't give them all the same attention. We can't give
the performance. And when I say we, I mean news outlets and such can't give the performative dance that they have given to all 160 of them. But that is news, and the point of news is to let you know what's going on. That information should be free and available somewhere.
No, I agree, and I think that is a larger story. And I do feel like, we get into the minutia of individual shootings, and we forget about the bigger picture of what inspires them to begin with.
You know what inspired January 6th?
What's that?
The Civil War. Who paid for the Civil War? There are statues and names on buildings of people who were traitors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but and I'm kind of straddling the fence between the both of them.
Yeah.
That so it's Uncle Doc. Everything that's in me wants to say, God damn it, you are correct. I hear you, but like the human interest part of me kind of says, okay, well, he really had to put a spin of goodness and light on it, because if you give into the darkness of it all and you say, it is terrorist and there's no safe harbor for Black people of color, then you want to gives the appearance or minutia of like there is no hope. And the huge job of the president is to give us hope. And that's the one thing, because I really kind of stopped watching the news altogether. I haven't seen almost anything on this because I go outside out there now and not focus here. Like I'm living a life instead of watching a reported life. But that the thing is, it's tragic. 10 people lost their life, and they did something as mundane as go to the grocery store. I can tell you how many times in my life I've been to the grocery store. How many times this month I've been to the grocery store. You go in there just to pick up some Fruit Loops and some milk, and and you lose your life. An 18-year-old kid got radicalized at fucking 18. And so, Malcolm, living here in Georgia, you should see these ads, these visceral ads. and you know, so
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to get into, and I wanted to play a clip from. I agree with you, Greg. I do on all of that. It's sad, and the thing is, I agree with Derek as well, honestly, about the fact that it's not helping anything. It's literally, yeah, it's not. I think it really isn't helping at all.
So
but
I
let me
was
say,
going to say this, Greg. I do understand what you say when you say, you know, you got to lead with hope and all of that. But again, I did not vote for Joe Biden to be a camp counselor.
So what?
I hold on. I voted for him because he said, you know, and again, I know better, but he said we're gonna do these things, and these things aren't getting done, and you aren't even speaking honestly about the things that are happening, because I don't need you to give me hope. I don't see you like that. You are not my leader. You are an elected person who is supposed to keep this country running for everybody.
But you're in the minority.
can I respond to that?
Sure.
I agree with you, and I think my fear is not necessarily that someone like Biden is going to give people hope, because for some people he will. You know, white people. he'll give them comfort.
They have everything else. They need that too.
They do. But I think what can be said about, like I said, being the anti-Trump thing, is that by saying the wrong thing, you can make things a lot worse than they are. And so they're doing the wishy-washy politician thing, because they are, after all, politicians.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I fail to see how you can make the shit worse.
You can.
Hold on. This dude got in a car and drove 200 miles fully strapped after telling everybody he was going to do this.
Yeah.
And then went and did it. And I saw the arrest. Now, I didn't see any of the footage that he shot that they streamed on Twitch. I did, however, see his arrest footage.
So you know that pisses me off. Like he can kill 10 people and live.
Not just live. Oh no, Greg, not just live. He wasn't thrown on the ground. He was handcuffed standing up. They walked gingerly over to him to secure him. All this throwing and shit, throwing motherfuckers up against the car and all that. Yeah, he didn't get none. He didn't get none of that.
But let me ask you this though.
Yes.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
If the person is non-threatening and you're arresting them and they don't have a weapon, absolutely. But as the police have repeatedly shown, I thought he had a weapon. I needed to unleash all of my arsenal on him. Well, this one actually had a weapon strapped across his chest in full view, and the carnage behind him showed that it was active.
10 motherfucking people lost their lives.
No, and that's the other thing I need, and that's the other thing, Greg. It is 10 people lost their lives in that grocery store, but we don't know the actual count, because one of those women was married to a man that was in a nursing home because he couldn't take care of himself at home anymore, and she had taken it upon herself to go to the nursing home every day to take care of her husband. So we didn't just lose 10 people. There's an interconnectivity that goes on here. So when you say to me, it can get much worse, I really need to tell me how. Because at any moment, they can in any moment, they can jump in a pickup truck, drive down a black neighborhood, and shoot it the fuck up. And nothing will happen, because January 6th, nothing happened. And with this child and the other one who went to Wisconsin, nothing happened. Okay, they went to jail. So the fuck what?
Yeah, no, I agree. And what I'm saying is, what I think when I say things get worse is that it's literally just getting worse. I mean, it is getting worse. Say it like that. It is getting worse. And it can accelerate.
But I
And
mean, but not doing, and again, I hear you, but
yeah.
not doing anything, it will accelerate.
No, and that's the thing. What I'm saying is that I don't agree with that aspect, and that's why I was saying when he called it terrorism, and when I tell you that I was listening to that report more than a year ago from Homeland Security, they're aware of it. You know, and I'm not saying that they're doing a good job, but I'm saying that is the job that they need to do, is to crack down on it and treat it like it is terrorism. You know, to hunt down the people who are the networks of people who are radicalizing people. You know, hold the people responsible who watched the video and didn't.
Fox right over there.
I know. Hold the people accountable who, you know, because the killer let a group of people know that he was going to do that. You know, gave them the link so that they could view the live stream, and they didn't warn anyone. I think that's how you go further into doing something about it. What's that, Greg?
What happened? I'm sorry. Is that what happened?
Yeah. He twitched it. He
Twitch streamed it live.
There's a 2-minute Twitch stream of him at the grocery store before Twitch cut him off.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, he had an audience at the time, and not only that, there were a group
so
of
why would any of them report him? Because they were all there to see.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is that there need to be consequences for those people as well.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
Because we have one political party that gains power and money with spreading disinformation, and it's sickening.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to play real quick. This thing about let me just hit this. This is from NPR.
What apparently motivated the accused gunman to do that is an idea that he allegedly wrote about in that document that we mentioned he shared online. An idea that you can hear more and more on some conservative media outlets.
You've got to ask yourself as you watch the historic tragedy that is Joe Biden's immigration policy, what's the point of this? Nothing about it is an accident, obviously.
That's Tucker Carlson on his Fox News show nearly 8 months ago. He expounded on a hateful ideology known as replacement theory.
To change the racial mix of the country. That's the reason, to reduce the political power of people whose ancestors lived here and dramatically increase the proportion of Americans newly arrived from the third world.
This is a baseless claim, a conspiracy theory rooted in many years of racism and white supremacist ideology. But increasingly, this idea appears not just in fringe corners of the internet, but on primetime Fox News, where leading political figures echo it back to their followers.
But also Democrat politicians who have decided that they can't win re-election in 2022 unless they bring in a large number of new voters to replace the voters that are already here. That's what this is about.
That's J.D. Vance. He's a Trump-endorsed Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in Ohio, who just won his party primary this month. During his primary campaign, he made appearances like this one on Tucker Carlson's show back in March.
We have an invasion in this country because very powerful people get richer and more powerful because of it. It's not bad policy, it's evil, and we need to call it that.
The Great Replacement Theory is the newest sort of name for a very old set of ideas.
Kathleen Belew is a professor of history at the University of Chicago who's written a book about the white supremacist movement in America. She told NPR, you can trace recent episodes of racial violence to replacement ideology. That includes shootings in Charleston, Pittsburgh, and El Paso, this weekend shooting in Buffalo, and, of course, don't forget...
You will not replace us! You will not replace us!
The violent white supremacist march in Charlottesville, Virginia, nearly 5 years ago.
You will not replace us!
Activists who follow this doctrine believe that the white race is under attack. And what we see is that this doctrine is quite flexible, and it's really a new name for an old set of racial hatreds.
So if there was any time for cancel culture to be real, it would be now. To cancel the assholes who peddle this shit. Like, we already knew that this was a likely outcome. We knew this months ago. I mean, we all understood it. Like I said, there were reports, there were warnings, they were telling them that this is going to happen, that it's going to inspire other killers, and to a certain degree, we can't overstep too. Because I remember, in the aftermath of 9/11 and the Patriot Act, there were some really sketchy things the government was doing about like spying on people and, arresting people for having hateful ideologies. This is true. But there's a place for people to hold other people accountable, not just the government, to say like, this shit is dangerous. Like, why the fuck are you allowing this on your network. Like, this is, if there was a time for cancel culture, it's now.
I agree, but the problem with that is that, you know, it's very fragile. We can't, you know, trample. Well, and that's, I use a very loose on free speech.
No, I'm saying as citizens, not as a government. As citizens, we can. I mean, we can say no.
Because with 30%, okay, let me just get on my soapbox for the numbers. 30% of America. Wait a minute. Before I get on my soapbox, just go. I was finna go in. He was like, "Oh, let me get this. Oh no, because 30% of America believes that Joe Biden is not the president.
It's a lot more than that, by the way. But
and that's to admit it in public, believe that Joe Biden. About what the numbers say. Numbers. My mother always said, "Mouth say anything," but that's all I needed on a t-shirt. My mother used to say that shit. Mouth say anything. And the other thing she said, everybody ain't lying.
But it's way. Let's just say way too many people.
Right. So what I want to say is first. I want to say. My condolences to those lives that were disrupted and lost. Uncle Derek, you are correct.
The story of that grandmother was just too much for me.
It's hurtful.
I was just like, I cannot deal, because it was something about, I think, you know, her daughter was talking about her granddaughter and how she had to run past, you know, like every time they would pass her grandmother's door, she wanted to like knock on the door and give her a hug, and she was like, I had to run past the door so she wouldn't ask me to give her a hug, and I was just like, oh.
Right. So
I can't deal.
Jeffrey, thank you for tuning in. I know you had a busy afternoon.
Yeah.
So glad to see you. I would like to talk about a relationship topic, Michael, because I am mad because I've stayed away from the news because
no, I do have one.
Let me just give my opinion on this, and then we can move on.
Yeah,
I completely agree, Uncle Derek. It's some fuck shit, and what I mean, like honestly, like what we as a race, especially black men, are being. I always thought, oh, you know, there's some brother selling them bean pies, and I love me a bean pie. If y'all got one, send me one. Listen, but honestly, I always thought we are being fucking hunted. We are being hunted, and it's all because they are no longer having white fucking babies. Your bitches is getting black dick. Them babies is black. You know what I'm saying? It's over, yo. It's over. Give it up. Your pussy has been snatched. Your babies are black and brown. We coming to the table. So you can shoot up all you can, but it's too late. Your man that all the bitch from the suburbs is getting black dick. Thank you.
All right. So let's do a relationship topic. And it's somewhat related to what we were talking about before, that had to do with how we determine what a good relationship is and looking from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So this one was like a sexless relationship. And I'll just play the tape.
It's a what?
A sexless companionate relationship. And is this a good relationship? I don't know. Like I'll get your opinion on it. That's what I want to do, is get your opinion.
I'm glad Jeffrey. I need some explanations. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, Dan. I'm a 50-year-old cis female, married for 29 years to my best friend, romantic partner, travel companion, and father to our 3 awesome adult sons. Life is actually pretty damn good, except for this one not so insignificant detail. We have only had PIV sex twice in the last 10 years. Not because I don't want to or don't enjoy sex, I most certainly do, but because since the age of around 35, my husband has been struggling with same-sex attraction, grappling to understand who he is and what it means for him and for us. He's gone from watching gay porn, describing it as just curiosity, to chatting and sexting with guys, explaining that it's an online fantasy. In fact, if there was ever any suggestion by someone for a real-life hookup, he'd cut off all contact and metaphorically run for the hills. 2 years ago, he floated the possibility of being bisexual, and 1 year ago, he landed on, I'm probably gay. He also has high-functioning autism, a history of anxiety and depression, and ED thrown in the mix. For a bit of context, we had a very strict religious upbringing. Though there was plenty of fooling around pre-marriage, we both said our I do's as virgins, and we've been each other's one and only ever since. We are both currently in individual therapy, and recently we've been researching and discussing ethical non-monogamy as one possibility for the future. The other two options on the table at the moment are separating and divorcing while still living and possibly travelling together, or separating and divorcing and carving out separate lives. While we agree that there is no real rush to decide our future, we do recognise that change is necessary. Pretending to be something that we're not, a monogamous heterosexual couple, has worn thin. My husband doesn't see himself ever wanting a long-term relationship with another man, although of course this could change, but he is ready to explore his same-sex attraction in a real and physical way. He's not 100% ready to come out of the closet to family and friends, but acknowledges that it's unfair to expect me to stay in the closet with him. As for me, I can't imagine a future void of passion or being sexually desired by a man. 10 years is long enough. To put it bluntly, I'm desperate for good old-fashioned fuck. As mentioned before, we are still romantic partners with plenty of hand-holding, hugs, cuddles, back rubs in bed, and even the occasional passionate kissing and fondling session. But my question to you is this. What to do when 90% that's good in our relationship is overshadowed by the 10% that leaves us both feeling sexually unfulfilled? Do you think that going down the E&M route is a realistic option? I've heard that good communication is key, something that we do really struggle with, in part because of my husband's autism. Are we simply delaying the inevitable and risk losing more of ourselves and the good that we have in the process? Would it be better just to call it a day on our marriage, step bravely into the great unknown as the best of friends?
So, yes, I definitely want to get to you. So let me just recap it again. They've been married 30 years or close to it. They have 3 adult children. They haven't had sex basically in 10 years. And she says that 90% of their relationship is good. That's why I'm confused. Like, how? Go ahead, Derek.
So I just want to say this. First of all, I had a whole story in the chamber ready to go about a friend of mine who I made a statement that, no marriage could go so many years without sex. And she raised her hand. And that's how I found out that she had been she had been paralyzed from like the shoulders down for like 7 years at one point in her life. But I don't need to use that story because this is not a sexless marriage.
She's married to a gay man.
She's married to a gay man.
Yeah.
She's married to a gay man, and God bless her. I feel so bad for her because she really needs to get her brakes pumped by somebody that would enjoy pumping her brakes.
Right.
Because I'm sure, again, clearly he did the deed. They got 3 kids and everything. But if he, has come around to the fact that he may not be attracted to women and all that, I get the whole religious upbringing and everything. That's why you did this right here.
Right.
But both of them actually need their brakes pumped because y'all just laying it. And again, the companionship aspect of it, my absolute bestest friend in the world is a woman, and we do all that. Not the sex part, but to travel and to talk and to raise children, because she's helped raise these children also. We'll sit there and we'll in the movie and we'll hold each other's hand or whatever. We cuss a bitch out together. We do all kinds of activities and shit together. We ain't fucking each other, and we ain't pretending that we are.
Right.
I'm not even saying they need to break up. They just need to be honest about where they are, and him go do him in that aspect, and her go do her, and then y'all can come back and talk about it like good girlfriends.
Yeah, that does. You're right. Yeah, 100%. And it sounds like that's where they're headed too, but I don't know. Yeah.
But you gotta hurry up because y'all got kids that are 30 years old. Y'all ain't got a lot of time.
Yeah, only 50, Jerry.
Yeah, she was 50. I don't know how old he was, but yeah, it's still they never had sex with anyone else. But that's the thing; they haven't had sex with any other person than each other.
Right.
At 50.
I'm gonna buy out of this one. I ain't got no real opinion because.
Well, I mean, I echo what Derek said here. I think that because she says that they talked about ethical non-monogamy. I mean, my only I won't say I guess it is a concern is like you just pointed out, Malcolm. They've only known each other sexually. And they won't be the first people to sadly have to discover themselves, at this age and time and figure some stuff out. And yet again, it's options there. My thing is, I would definitely say, like she said, though, I think that the longer this goes on, the worse this is going to get, because at some point, resentments are going to start setting up. This is where, when we talk about communication, as we said, communicate, you know, and they obviously are doing that, which I think is great. The fact that she knows that he has this attraction and all this other stuff, and they talk through this. But yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, for some people, I know some people that are in non-sexual relationships that they kind of mimic this, and for them, quote unquote, they said it works. But I've seen some situations where people say it worked and they're not necessarily being honest.
Right.
So that's where then the cheating and the infidelity then come up. So I think that if they are open to the idea of that, I mean, I would say the biggest barrier here to them is honestly fear. They're going to have to get over what the fuck everybody else thinks, because that's honestly the issue here. Like she said, she feels like she's in the closet with him because of where they are.
That's a horrible fucking place to be.
That's not a good space to be.
How
So
did
I'm going to
I get here?
quick and simple, they need to come out the goddamn closet.
Together.
And then get their brakes pumped.
I got a question. Everybody on the panel is over 40, right?
Yeah.
That song in the 90s, Your Man is a Girl. Yeah,
you know it.
I love 90s house music, y'all. But I want to talk about this glowing tan that cousin friend Jeffrey Del Toro has. He's glowing. He has a tan. He just looks like vacation. I love it.
I spent a lot of time in the sun over the weekend, and I will share a little bit more when we get on Patreon. But I had an amazing time, and I came back definitely a couple of shades darker.
I love it. Squeeze your face. I love it. Malcolm, well, tell me. I have come on this topic has animated me because I'm concerned. I went from anger to absolute shock and awe. Like it's just Uncle Derek. Like, and I understand as time goes on, you know, sex becomes odd. I don't know when that time is, because I think the older I get, the hornier I get. Honestly, you know, like I would be just like a nasty old man, just horny. I said I don't know when this happens or when this comes to an end. But like, I can't even get it out. A sexless relationship.
Right.
So really, she's a lesbian, Uncle Derek.
She clearly wants to get fucked, though. I mean, that's what she was.
She does. Yeah.
So
she's not what a woman.
Like that. I like brake pumping. What would you call it? Beat the brakes. What is it?
Get your brakes pumped.
I love it.
Get your brakes pumped. Now, okay, so I will tell the story real quick of the woman that told me that she was paralyzed from the shoulders down for 7 years, and her husband took care of her. You know, and when I met her, she had, I forget what the condition was, but she'd gotten over it. She had full use of, all her limbs and everything. And when she told me that story, I was sitting there with my mouth hanging open. And at the end, when she said, "So yeah, here I am now," blah blah blah, I said, And he made up for lost time too, didn't he? And she just kind of laughed and giggled. She also thought that she'd never be able to give birth, but she has a 5-year-old son now. So
working all the time.
Well, yes, when they could, but she was paralyzed before, so they couldn't. But the beauty of my story is that they spent this time together where they couldn't have sex. But then when she could, again, their story just got more beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
7 years in purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is a beautiful story, though.
I mean, that takes a lot of commitment, and like you said, I do think it happens. I mean, there are people that I know. A friend that went through that similar situation with a wife that literally for about 8 years of their marriage, they could not have sex because she had a physical condition. He knew that when he married her. They tried a lot of alternatives, and none of them worked in the sense of being pleasurable to her. And she even encouraged him to go out and have sex with someone else. He essentially took life on hold for 8 years, and sadly, she passed away from the condition. I forget what it was. And it was at that time that he began to explore, other options, including, and his wife even knew that he was bisexual going into the relationship.
Okay.
So I tell people love is a powerful thing, and we definitely don't need to limit that. When you love someone, you will do things that you never thought you would do. I mean,
they couldn't do it. Let me just recap the story because I think I missed a piece. So they couldn't do it, and they never did it because then she died.
They did they messed around and did some things, but she had some condition where physically vaginal sex was painful. And she could not have it. And he even said they tried the anal thing, and that was just a little bit too extreme and painful also. I mean, I forget what the condition was, but there was a couple of other things going on.
She couldn't suck it.
I don't know.
Not everybody does. I told a friend of mine that once, I don't like doing a lot of neck. That is on the list of things on the menu that we gonna sample. That's not on my menu. If you need that, and we feel a certain way about each other, I'll give the neck. I'll give the best thing, but it doesn't do anything for me.
I get that,
But I think the thing, though, and I mean, the lesson I take from this also is, so often, especially as we get older and we all are aging, if you're lucky, you will get older. As my grandmother say, one day you will know what it feels like to be a person of a certain age. We have to stop letting age and this idea we can only do certain things when we're young define us, because I know so many people that stay in bad relationships, whether it's jobs, marriages, friendships, whatever, because we go through this idea of one time. But also as we get older, we tend to lose some of our bravery in that sense. Like when we were young, you walk away from something, oh, well, I can start over. But as people get older, and I know they have a lot vested here in this couple, but at the end of the day, as I tell anybody, anything that I have physically, job-wise, you have to be okay with understanding that one day you might have to walk away from that. And are you going to stay stuck? Or are you going to be brave and say, you know what? I don't care what I might lose, whatever, because I'm not a big Deion Sanders fan, but I saw him on Instagram and he said something that was so paramount and so powerful that it hit me. And he said, it doesn't matter, children, family, friends, wife, or husband, your peace and your happiness is the most paramount thing you have. You have to protect it.
I need to receive. I've received that. I received that.
Yeah.
Perfect example. My father was 62 now.
Yeah.
62 fucking years old.
Yeah. Nobody's smart.
Let me tell you something. When I was born, he was 62. He died when I was 22, 23, and he was 83. He lived till he was 83. And that's amazing. Like, he never thought he would have children. And so, he lived several lives with them, and then at this late age, he had a fucking toddler. That's craziness, you know what I mean? And thank God he looked young, because imagine when I was 18, this nigga was 70, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he had my high school graduation with parents that are 30, 35, you know what I mean? So it's like, what the fuck? All right, so Malcolm is putting up links.
Yeah, we're going to come to the end of the hour. I do want to do some things that are bringing you joy. And I'm going to go first because I'm just going to show some beautiful thickness that I usually post.
Hey, we are for it.
All right, so there's this guy who I think he's a track and field guy. You probably might have seen it. He goes by Chasing Greatness on TikTok. I think he's a athlete at the University of Alabama. I think he's a Haitian immigrant, and I saw this video that he posted and I had to remix it and we'll see if this is inappropriate. Let me know if this is disrespectful because he had different music to this video, and then I, doing the magic of editing, added a couple of different audio tracks to it. So let me know what you think about this. Let me
see them out. They got these shorts on, these hoochie daddy shorts. They got these 4-inch seams. They got their thighs out. Cat call them. Hey, gray shorts. Your mama let you out the house like that?
What you doing out here with all these thighs? double hammed up on a Monday afternoon, hella legs, the sun is still shining.
Okay, so which do you think, one or two?
I like number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your mama let you out the house looking like that?
Right.
But the man has thighs. I'm just saying.
Oh my God! I mean, yeah.
Cat call.
Yeah.
That's A-grade shorts.
Right. In his case, they red shorts.
And they're red in that record. Yeah, that's true. But no, it's interesting to like hit up people who are, because they know what they look like. You know
what? Not everybody. No.
Not everybody.
No.
Because
I was telling Jared. I sent Jared a picture of me when I was 22. And he was like, "Wow." I said, "Yeah." Unfortunately, when I was 22, I didn't know this was a wow. Yeah. And in the picture, I'm wearing this shirt that is like 3 times too big. And I'm literally drowning in it. But you can look at my legs and see just how thin and young and gorgeous I am. But I didn't know that.
Well, I did. That's why I was a whore.
Oh God!
Hey,
I didn't say I wasn't a whore. I just said I didn't know it.
Oh, I did. I was a super whore.
That's what's bringing me joy. I'm gonna I'll repost Rickson at some point, but Chasing Greatness. I love watching him like jump hurdles, and he does like the long jump and the.
I can't imagine why you enjoy any of that.
Right.
Oh, I love the one. The one where you flip over the bar or the high jump, like his leg just. Oh.
Although I understand what you're talking about.
Turn your camera off and go get a towel, please. Thank you.
Can I do mine? Because I was gonna say it earlier, but I decided to wait because I knew you was gonna do that.
Mark will be to clean up.
Clean up on our body.
So
I do have a little bit of a crush.
A few weeks ago, Logan was taken to the place to get tested because both of his brothers have ADHD and he has exhibited some ADHD behavior. And since they both had it, he needed to be tested too. But again, as opposed to being halfway through school and being tested, he's just at the beginning. His graduation is Friday.
Yeah.
But anyway, the test results came back today and I haven't gotten all of them. But his father was telling me as we were getting ready for dinner tonight. So the test came back. I said, okay, he's brilliant, but I'm sure that surprises you. And it was the first time that I actually felt like we were co-parenting, like together, because he was teasing me about that. But they gave him some cognitive tests and everything, and he scored through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
So yes, he is brilliant. And he's brilliant and shady. And if you come to the Patreon, I will tell you all why he was so shady to me the other day that I was too stunned to speak.
Wow.
That's a good one. That's a good tease.
I can't wait to hear that one.
Jeffrey, what brought you joy this week?
Oh God. Well, it is just Wednesday, but as you've talked about the tan, yes, I got a chance to go to Puerto Rico on Friday, which was and I got back on Monday. Even though my flight coming home was delayed by almost 3 hours, because literally Delta flies just the same plane back and forth, and there was an issue with the plane here, but that didn't even ruin the trip. I got a chance to lay out on the beach Sunday, watch the waves, and drink a pina colada out of an actual pineapple. So that brought me a whole lot of joy.
I am so jealous. That is all I have wanted, Jeffrey, for the last 3 years, is to sit somewhere, waterside. It could be a pool, it could be the sea, it don't fucking matter. And I am in a little bit of clothing, and some cute boy is bringing me tropical drinks.
And that's exactly what it was, because we were staying like resort. We stayed
at mine, and congratulations. I'm super jealous and happy for you.
When I say they had to have photos like Malcolm's post, they must have had to submit photos with their applications because there was no ugly person on this. I was there for it, but I had an absolutely amazing time and really got a chance to explore Puerto Rico in a way that I have not had to been able to. I've gone once before, second trip, but absolutely beautiful island, and got a chance to really experience their culture in a different way. So that was the thing that brought me joy this week.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like pina colada. Right, I love it. All right, my turn. What brought me joy this week? Actually, the thing that brought me joy made me late today. It's so I got my grass done yesterday. The bushes all trimmed. You might know they're nice to shit out of me. But I found a bench to go on my front porch, which made me super excited. And you know, I don't know. So Jeffrey will know what this means. And the other thing that brought me joy this week is I went to the doctor for a checkup without incident. I know that doesn't mean tune in to Patreon. I'll tell you what that means. But that, boy, I haven't had a chance. Jeffrey smiled over there. I haven't had a chance to happen. But yeah, like I lived. Now I got vaccinated by accident.
We'll have to talk about that one, Greg, because I don't know how that
happened. Vaccinated by accident?
By accident.
Yeah, y'all, I'm gonna tell you. I got vaccinated by I feel like I was they won't listen. I was trying to hold on to September, October, but you know, they did it too fast. Tune in the Patreon, I'll tell you. Yeah, especially the doctor thing, really. Short story is I have been struggling with that was my last anxiety hurdle. Like I got back on an airplane, I'm back in the streets, you know, I'm doing things in the world with less anxiety, less to no anxiety. So, and going to the doctor, I haven't been since, Jeffrey, they pulled out the records on me. And it was like, Mr. Gray, we haven't seen you in person since November of 2020. The fuck? Oh my God, I'm surprised I ain't dropped dead.
Right.
And you know, at first they tried to shame me, but then my favorite nurse, Nikki, came in there and was like, don't be talking to Mr. J like that. Right, she from New York. Tune the Patreon. More stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, let's go on to Patreon. Let me do a little promoting of our shows. We got Devon, aka Thick Night. Check him out on Thick Night Gaming, and of course Sunday at 5 p.m. Yeah, movies, geeks, culture, comics, you know, all that good stuff. And of course, Greg is going to join us on Saturday. He's going to be hosting.
That's right, and it's going to be birthday party pajama Jimmy Jam. You know what I'm saying?
You do the news you may not use, you know, all that good stuff. The sus box. We need to get the sus box logo.
Pick up your tickets. Right. DJ Clue, a Kid Capri. Right.
Yes, and of course, subscribe to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the Bearcast every Tuesday once I get it back going.
Today's show has been brought to you by Bougie People. He got a new bundle. I'll put that.
Oh yes. Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't get to download it. I'm sorry.
Shit.
I'm a bad friend. Oh my God. I know.
Well,
where's
you
my
did have a bit of a week, so.
Yeah.
Go to www.bougiepeople247.com. You got a special going on. You know,
yes.
Bundle situation. Get you one of these. Because you know, you really do have.
Let me do that at least. Let me give you know.
I really do have these. You know what I'm saying? Come into Patreon, I'll tell you why.
Yeah, let me get that download. I mean,
I wore my Bougie People t-shirt to Puerto Rico, the Nina Simone one. You know, I love that shirt. So
yes, let me tell you something. I got Bougie People problems. I'll tell you what it is.
All right, yeah, let's go to Patreon. Thank you, everybody who watches us. Go to patreon.com/mailemediamind to see the full after show
And hit the subscribe button,
and like us.
Yep. Here Saturday for my birthday party with Jimmy Jam and Jam Kick.
So yeah, my bad. I don't even know where my phone is. But yeah, no, I was kind of going through it because Jeff wasn't here when I said this. Like, my mom had an arrhythmia Sunday, and we had to go to the hospital. And she's okay, but I'm not. I'm still kind of shaken from the whole experience. And I'm doing okay. I'm, just being real that I'm not 100%.
Well, that's traumatic. So,
and this weekend was already dramatic. So
right, that's traumatic and dramatic. So,
it's traumatic.
Take your time and honor your feelings because it's gonna bring up some other stuff. Take your time.
Yeah, do my walk and cleaning. Cleaning is a big one for me. I know it's like I'm not very good at it, but it really does help. Like I just put on some music.
That. I have a friend that like that. I can always tell. I'm just like, what's wrong? Because he's clean. He's a clean person, but like when he starts to go through like the deep cleaning stuff and and rearranged, it's like, okay, what's wrong? So
I just love the smell of clean. I think that's a huge part about it. Maybe I'm very oriented by smells. Yeah, so a clean smelling place just makes me feel better. So.
And also, we have to remember when our emotions are cluttered, we kind of feel better whenever the things around us aren't.
That is true.
Right.
So that's why I make up my bed every morning. And sometimes I get back in it for my afternoon luxury. But I pick it up again. No good day. I pick it up again. Sometimes twice a day. But what I was talking about on the show, it's okay to be proud of yourself. Like I have avoided the doctor like the plague, Like that shit brought me so much anxiety. Like I was talking to Jeffrey about it.
I've been there.
So listen, the one time, so Jeffrey and I, he's like, yo, I'll go with you. This one be right. The one appointment I get is when Jeffrey is in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's the way it was supposed to be.
Right. And I could not. Like I asked Will B. I asked the boys. Everybody's like, nah, he ran off. Will ran off to see Pat LaBelle. Like, I ain't gonna know if I'm gonna be back, bro. The boy Matt's in DC, Brandon, we ain't got no car. But it was like, like everybody and everything. So I was like, fuck, so for my own sake, I was not gonna change it. I was like, nope, I'm gonna do this shit, Uncle Darren. Malcolm, I was like, yo, fuck that. I'm gonna tough this shit out. I'm gonna take me a motherfucking antidepressant. I'm gonna go in this motherfucker like boom. Go in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So right, Uncle Darren. So I get in the doctor's office. I started listening to my unwinding anxiety bullshit. My feet sweating. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh my God. So the thing that I had to remember, Jeffrey, I was like, yo, I've been to this fucking doctor's office 1,000 times. Like 1 billion gazillion times, right? Then my favorite nurse walks up the back. She was like, Mr. Drayton. Oh, what up, Nikki? So she was like, what up, nigga? So she was like, fuck you, man, nigga. I was like, it's all good. I was like, I got, just the last chick gave me some anxiety. Because what happened was my brother died the day I went to the doctor. And, and I didn't realize I was in such distress. You know what I mean? Because I thought I was fine. I was like, oh, yo, the old geezer's dead. Fucking okay, it's all good. You know what I mean? So I went on and I had a full-on panic attack at the doctor's office. Like a full-on, like sweating. Jeff, did I call you after I left the doctor's? I think I did. No, I laid
last time or this time?
Last time.
Yeah.
And because I could not, I had to literally run out of there and go lay on the ground. It was just some crazy, I had this weird. So, and then my doctor, she came behind me and, pre-COVID. And she just grabbed me and hugged me. She was like, oh God, get in my car. I'm going to take you home. And my doctor literally drove me home and I was having in her car, in her you're gonna have a panic attack, have one in a 2020.
Yeah, 'cause, you know, you black man, it's hard. It's dangerous for you to have any kind of attack that draws attention to yourself.
And then you know what? And she was like, she pulled me aside because she's a white woman, was very aware. She was like, you know, come on in. I'm gonna take you home. So it's just like, so that Malcolm. So I feel you, and I wanted to go around with this. So like, try not to let your mom is cool for the moment, but try not to let the trauma, be the end of the story.
Right.
The end of the story is, she made it. She's fine.
No, she's fine. I'm the one. Like I need to,
Yeah, it's traumatic, but that's all I had to remember. Like this.
Hey.
Is like,
I got a type of. I got some.
No, come back. We want to hear him. Turn the volume on. No, this is not fair.
That's cute.
Part of it. Yeah, he's so cute. But yeah, don't. Yeah, I was super proud of myself. I've conquered the airplane thing. I'm like, it's really crazy. Like, now. Because have you finished the book yet, Malcolm? Why didn't you?
No, I think I should
be a check, by the way.
I apologize. He was bringing you something that his father brought home.
We wanted to hear him talk to you.
Oh,
he sounds so precious.
He is. Okay, so look. So I have this Doctor Who shirt, and I have several Doctor Who shirts. This one looks like the door to the TARDIS.
Right.
So it's got the windows on it and everything, and the little, police call box and all of that. So we're sitting at the table the other day, and he looks and he says, "You have windows on you." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're a building." I said, "Okay. Well, you have windows, so you're a building." I said, "Okay, yeah, that works on a building. Yeah. Do people come inside of you?"
Dead.
Yeah.
What you like on
occasion? I mean, what could I say? What's my response?
Say on occasion, maybe.
What was I supposed to say after that?
Oh God.
Thank you.
No, kids say literally the darndest thing. So,
hey, what was your response?
I had none.
Didn't you hear me say earlier he was speechless?
Yes, I was speechless. I was too stunned to speak. There was nothing.
Wow.
Bro, I would have been in the floor. You hear me?
Oh God.
All I could do, we were sitting at the dinner table. All I could do was sit there and go, "This motherfucker is shady."
And where did he get that from, Derek?
I cannot tell you, Jeffrey. I don't know, and I don't understand why people keep asking me the question with that same inflection. Like, are y'all having? Where did he get that from, Derek? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Oh God.
Oh, you have windows on you.
He's shady, and he never gonna have to worry about his self-esteem because he started singing. Again, graduation is Friday. They have 4 songs. So he was in the kitchen today, and he sang a little bit of one of them. Just broke out in the song like it was a musical. I said, "Oh wow, you have a lovely voice." He looked at me and said, "I know."
Where did he get that from, Uncle Derek?
I don't know. And now stop asking me where he got things from. He's maybe I don't know.
Is that a sense of self or overplayed ego?
I am very happy that he has a sense of self and that he feels great about himself.
Is that windows on your shirt?
That is windows on my shirt. And I am also happy that in any given situation, he will be able to verbally handle himself.
That is a skill. Reading is a skill.
Reading is a skill.
I watch Paris is Burning at least once a year. to understand the definition of reading.
His father was talking to him, telling him a story. When his father was done talking to him, he said, "Are you tired of talking now?"
Wow.
I love it. Shout out to my own.
Oh god. I think I saw one like that on TikTok where, there's a woman talking about her daughter, and she's like, she brings her a pair of her glasses or something. She says she was cleaning out her car, and she brings her like a pair of sunglasses, and she says like, are these yours? And she's like, yes. It's like, they look expensive, and it's like, yeah, they were very expensive. So why were they just laying on the floor in your car? She's like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Read her film. What's he say? These look expensive.
Read my mama film.
They look expensive, and then what happened on Mr.
Oh, she said, why were they laying on the floor of the car?
Right.
If they were expensive and important, because she was really proud of them, like how expensive they were.
And the girl was like, not obviously if they were on the floor of the car.
Well, my son was about.
These are how you treat nice things.
My son was about 6 years old, and we were in let's say the kid one, and like how you buy the super big thing of toilet paper. So the lady had rung up the toilet paper, and so she sets it right there, and he barely sees to the end of the counter. But he looks up at this woman. Now you see he has a disability. You're not gonna help him with this toilet paper. I was like, what?
Where did you get that from, Greg?
I was like, I got it, Chris. I got it. And he's like, no, she should help you. This is crazy. Yeah, I was just like, I had to call his mother. I was like,
no, kids are wonderfully honest, and we and adults attempt to beat that and punish that out of them. But I think it's an amazing thing.
No, we never did, and it was just, and there were gems like that all throughout his childhood. Like, my mother was like, you're too smart for your own good. And he was like, Granny, you can never know enough in life. It's just like, what? And even so, I think he was about, I don't know, maybe let me see, he's 26 now, so he was, I don't know, 12 when my mother died, maybe 11. So he was like 10. No, 11, 12. So anyway, so 12, he looks over at me, he says, I know this is a tough day. 12 years old, I know this is a tough day for you, Dad. Just know everybody dies, and you'll see her when you die. I was like, that is not comforting, motherfucker.
No, but kids, because one of my coworkers she said her son, he was maybe about 4, and they were in the store, and similar to like you said, this woman was walking, and I guess she was leaning over in such a way like they could tell she was having back pain. And and people was like, "Oh, ma'am, we're sorry that you're not feeling well." And at 4, the little boy said, "It's because she has those big old titties. They're huge." And she said she was like, "Oh my God!" But she said, "You know what?" The woman laughed. She said the woman had a good sense of humor about it, but she said, "I was mortified."
I bet
she's a white woman. I was mortified.
Especially for her doctor about a reduction in
right. So that baby understood her titties was too big for her back. So
that baby better get a back brace and keep on going. So another good thing that happened to me this week, VSP fucked up my insurance, and I get another pair of glasses this year.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. So I get like $1,500. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm like the annoyed white girl that I pretend to be all the time. Oh my God.
No, not her.
I don't know what to get. So many options.
Right.
Oh my God. So right, so
The
but
last thing you want to give certain white women is options.
right.
Which is why they let these white men take away their right to their pussies. Too many options.
I saw today one of the senators, I guess it was one of the senators, asking this doctor questions about abortion. And again, my mouth just kind of hung open because, dude, can we at least take this fucking seriously?
What is he asking?
And what's worse, it was a black doctor. So she, at one point, she made that black woman face where she asked somebody in the room without looking, is this motherfucker for real?
Right.
So the first question was, what if a woman is due to give birth and minutes before she's due to give birth, she decides to have an abortion? Are you okay with that?
What?
Right. Right there. That's the same face she made. And she's like, sir.
I didn't understand that question either until it took me a while to like the stupidity of that question.
No, that wasn't even the stupidest question. The stupidest question was, what if she's actually in the process of getting, what if the exact words, what if the baby was in the birth canal and she was giving birth and she decided to have an abortion? And the woman was like, I mean, that doesn't happen to your knowledge. This never happened to you. This never happened that you know of. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen because it happens all the time.
It does not happen. Oh my God.
So I would never thought I would like tune out of news. Oh my God. But apparently I'm not the only one. Like, Rachel Maddow only comes on Mondays now.
Yeah.
This bitch tuned out. I'm like, I'm out.
That was the most. You talk about my trip. I realized that was probably one of the best parts of it. I did not cut on the TV the entire weekend.
Yeah,
bro, I missed the whole Buffalo story. Like, I don't know anything about the details of the Buffalo story.
Right. Well, I saw that on the phone, but other than that, yeah.
I took all the apps off my phone. I just because
I don't allow them to send me notifications anymore.
Boy, when they say ignorance is bliss,
it is.
Yeah, that was the thing. I went down the rabbit hole.
When the white people come in here, y'all go Greg Day on the way, bro.
I went down the rabbit hole because there, like you said, there were like 5 other shootings, and I think 3 or 4 of the other ones were racially motivated as well.
They are,
I was like, this is.
So they trying.
There's one in California, Minnesota. There was one in Atlanta, and there was one in Texas.
Yeah,
there was one in Atlanta.
It was another Asian shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. A guy got in his car, went to an Asian neighborhood and started shooting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, never be able to give me no more sweet fried rice. God damn it. They better stop.
I'm just like, I'm so done. Like, just.
You're not done.
Yeah, so
no, because I've had like 5 people say the same thing to me. I'm done. You're not done. You're just full.
I need a break.
You can't take anything else in.
Yeah.
Right.
Your brain has told you this is enough.
It's enough.
Uncle Dirk, you know, that reminds me of the Family Guy with those side when Chris is at the fair and he wins a homosexual. And he asks his father, can he keep it?
Exactly.
And his mother says, no, because you can't afford to feed it, Chris. And Chris asks the homosexual, well, what do you eat? He says, love and compliments. And Chris was like, I like your hair. He's like, keep going. Beautiful smiling personality in the little homosexual character. I'm full. Hilarious. I love that.
But
that's just it's.
I was thinking about on the abortion front.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I heard, maybe one of the smartest things I've heard someone say was when Roe v. Wade is overturned, they probably should do another performative vote, but they should just put it to rape only. Just saying that you will allow abortion in the event of
rape and incest.
Yes, and the reason why is because this is going to fail. The vote will fail. Republicans will vote against it. But saying that you are in favor of letting women give birth to their rapist babies.
Will not
on record.
do the damage that you think it's going to do.
No, it will. And the reason why is because you can turn it around and make it about something else, and not about crime.
Well,
Republicans really do care about crime. You say you favor rapists over women.
Well, they favor white nationalists.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there's
something somewhere, and the Republican Party is now the official party of white nationalists based on his comment.
Oh yeah, for sure, this is true. But I'm just saying, like, this is one they don't care about white nationalists because they are white nationalists, but they do have this fetishization for anti-crime legislation. And it's one of those that
they have a fetishization for anti-crime legislation that involves policing black and brown people.
Right?
Not
this is true. That's a good point. Yeah.
None of them are talking about Buffalo outside of, and like they said, this was, and I did catch some of the stories because when I got home yesterday, I watched a little news, and this idea that like this was something that was literally straight out of the Fox News, like this whole, like the replacement theory shit that they're now talking, and they're bringing these people here to replace you as the good white people that you are, So yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean,
at this point, if anybody tells me they're Republican, I'm gonna call them a racist to their face
because that's what you signed up for.
I give zero fucks right now.
Right, that's good.
I don't think
you're racist, and I might have to hit you in your mouth.
I don't think that would be the flex that you think it is, because those people don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Unfortunately.
I got zero fucks because
right.
So the other thing that brought me joy today was I got to have lunch with some brother Jeff went here. Had to call the council today. And we got a new Olive Garden to go to with Jeff. We all had soup and salad, unlimited, delicious,
and the unlimited breadsticks.
Yes,
I love their breadsticks. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the few places I actually go for the bread. So
it's one of the first things I learned how to bake.
Awesome. So Mac was with us. So and Gavin, y'all go check him out in The Color Purple. He's there too. Sunday. But anyway, so the white woman calls me over to the table. No lie. She was like, I heard you talking over there, and I got something to tell you. I got a funny story to tell you. I used to be, this is her voice, I used to be a regional manager for a grocery store in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh boy.
And I had a black regional manager. I said, oh, really? Tell me more, darling. I get my Oprah.
Darling.
Right. Because I'm in the South, so I make her scoot over.
And as a white woman, that's exactly how he was supposed to refer to her.
I make her scoot over, and I sit there with her and her husband. Tell me about your black friend, darling. What is this that you had to call me? You see, I got this pain right here. That you had to call me from. I had to turn around and come answer to your white privilege. What is it, darling? Tell me. He said, I did see you. Okay. I think that made her uncomfortable, but she kept going. And so she was like, I had this black regional manager one time. And we had to go from blah, 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 Alabama to Selma. And he wanted to ride in my car. And he asked me, I thought it was so funny. He asked me, should he ride in the front or the back of the car? I'm waiting for the punchline. Bitch, that was it. I'm like, I said, so the joke is reverse mistake. Is that what we're talking?
Right.
Funny. And her husband was like, hey, that's not funny. It was really awkward. And so the boys, Gavin and Mac, were not far close enough to hear because I was in her face. I was at the table like, you know what I mean? Bitch, you gonna call me, I'm gonna set my ass down. I'm gonna sit down right beside you. And we're gonna talk about this thing. So she was like, you didn't think that was funny, sir? I thought that was a funny story. I said, yeah, it's as funny as Medgar Evers. Wasn't that funny too? Trayvon Martin was hilarious. A bag of Skittles. Fucking hilarious.
I will leave you all with this. Have you heard about the corrections officer that has gotten suspended over his joke about Buffalo?
No.
Missed that one.
Yeah, he did a social media post with a picture of the supermarket that said, clean up on aisle 2. No, wait, 3, 4, 7.
Ooh. Now that was definitely in poor taste.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a video, and Malcolm, if you're on TikTok today, I'm sure you'll run into it because more people have started sharing it. There is a video of one of his he's white, one of his black co-workers just going in, and because the dude is trying to explain, I mean, it was a tense situation. I was just trying to make a joke, and and dude was like, yeah, I mean, if you was in front of me right now, I'd just be beating the shit out of you.
Pretty much.
I mean, and that's my issue too. Like, yet again, they think that they can make light of this shit, and we're just supposed to laugh about it, and that's gonna make it better. No,
right? They just wanted to go away, and that's what that is. And or even beyond that, I think that was just a cop out. I think he was there's a real possibility that he got off on that.
Oh, he did.
I'm sure he did. That whole thing, it was just a joke. Shit,
he wasn't trying to break the tension. He thought this shit was funny.
That's just like when they tell those jokes around around people of color, and like that woman just did to Greg. But isn't that funny? No, bitch, it's not.
Yeah. Funny, bitch. I said, oh, it's just as funny as Megan. She turned red as the beat. I said, Medgar Evers was hilarious. Trayvon Martin was even funny. And I was like, girl, don't you like the way they beat that man in Minnesota to beat him to death? Boy, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, before we go, I would say if anybody, I normally don't recommend hip hop records, but if you've not listened to Kendrick Lamar's record,
well, you better stop playing.
It is
no, fuck you, nigga.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But he came, he did a song about his aunt becoming his uncle and his cousin going from male to female. So, and talking about basically, it's a powerful song. But the other
I've heard a lot about this, but I haven't heard it because
the album is like Kendrick Lamar as an artist is just amazing to me anyway. But this album is 18 songs. It's a solid material. But he also came out and disclosed that he had been sexually molested as a child.
Allegedly.
No, he talked about it in the song.
I can listen again because I thought he was saying that his mother kept asking him, and
his mama kept asking him, and he kept denying it. But he actually, and I listened to it again, and I think he actually confirmed it.
And maybe he denied it because he didn't feel safe telling her.
And that's the thing, like that, and that's exactly kind of what the song. But it really talked about just, I mean, as a black man of his stature to come out with something like that, it was quite powerful.
And I know, and he talks about that's why some hip hop people have toxic masculinity.
Right. He goes in, but it's a wonderful piece of art that is uplifting. Yeah,
but my jam, of course, is the ratchet one. Fuck you, nigga. No, fuck you, bitch.
And on that
look, why do I know that, Greg? Is that what you get, Greg?
I'll see y'all Saturday.
Okay.
All right. Later.
What you say, Jeffrey?
I say, was that you, Greg, when you talking about taking people's car keys and then it got to, no, fuck me, nigga. No.
For the cat said, fuck me, nigga. No, fuck me, nigga.
Right.
You know who that is, right? The girl.
The girl?
Yeah. That is Taylor Page. She is Jesse. What's the light skinned Jesse with the dick pics on all over the place?
Right.
In the play, what's his name? Jesse Washington? No. The light skin.
The guy that's in, is it Williams?
It's Williams.
That's his girlfriend, Taylor Page.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
She's an actress. She is beautiful. And that the whole album, I talked about it a little bit on Saturday because I got
At that point, I hadn't heard it. I did get a chance to listen to it.
Malcolm because it was like damn, like he is the only rapper in history has won a Pulitzer Prize, and
yeah,
I think this is just as worthy.
Right.
It is a piece of art that's a social commentary, and that, especially for me, being almost 50 and kind of growing, I'm a hip hop head, and growing up, I never saw myself in hip hop. You know what I mean? I never saw there's just some gay artists out there, they're on the fringes and shit, but and I just felt like the whole entire album was just track for track. He was talking about therapy, he was talking about sexual assault, all the things, everything that was taboo to Black men.
Yeah.
And of course, all I got from my cisgender straight friends is, man, what is Kenny talking about? And one of my homeboy wives is like, bitch, you just sit down and listen to what Kendrick. And and then in the song, when they do We Cry Together, it's called We Cry Together. Fuck you. But the shit that she says to him, she's like, you're the reason for Trump. You're the reason that R. Kelly can't admit that he's abusive. You're the reason that Harvey Weinstein had to meet his end.
She went in like. And like you said, for me, like it's the first time I think an artist of his stature at the height of their career, has really put something out that is reflective, I think, of his entire fan base. I mean, in his own pain. Like it really is,
To be fair, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Deborah Lee's son committed suicide. The former head of BT. Her son committed suicide a few years ago, and they were best friends. That kind of, I know they were close. I don't think it was nothing sexual. I don't think.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think for me with Kendrick Lamar is he gives you a very heterosexual man in just how he presents himself, and it's a natural thing. Like I tell people, he doesn't fake or front. He is who he presents himself as in that context. And for him to take on this subject matter and not buy into the toxic masculinity idea of it all, I thought was just amazing. So,
amazing.
I literally just downloaded the album last night, and I've been listening to it. I literally played it from beginning to end, all the way to work. I listened to it while I was at the office, all the way home, and I was just floored. Like it's an amazing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I like what is it, Auntie? I like
that's the Auntie Diaries when he's talking about his aunt, the man being. And also before I let you, Greg, I'm gonna need you to get your friend, Mr. Troy. I don't know if you can see this, but this is what was on the table when I went by the house. Do you know what that is?
Why? What?
But you know what they are.
They dildos.
That's what I thought they were. They are salt and pepper shakers.
What?
He was getting ready to eat, and we walked because we moving somebody in. I was like,
wow.
Oh. And he had left them on the table because we got there. He had walked to the store, and I guess he didn't realize. Well, he didn't know we were coming. I walked in the living room, and I was looking like, why are there dicks on the table?
I'm gonna text them right now.
He is truly a dirty old man. I love him to death. But now he has as of tomorrow, he will be one shy of a house full. And that's the other thing today. I'll send you some pictures, Greg. But we had we bought 2 tiny homes to put behind the house we bought back in November. And they actually finally delivered them this afternoon. They were in the process of leveling them and putting them on something that would make sure that they don't slope. But we will truly be able to get some people off the streets. And yesterday,
what's the zoning for that?
It's no zoning, actually. We checked, and then we actually went back to the city again just to make sure. And we got the emails that they said it was fine. As long as it's on private property, they don't have any issue.
Okay.
And
you want to tax it or anything?
Yeah, because it's considered an addition and it's not a permanent structure. It can be moved at any time. So,
so that's the difference.
Yeah, but yesterday we had a man that is a British national, originally I think from Kenya, who came to us via the UK, and literally got here, and within 6 months ended up on the streets. And as of tomorrow, he will be a resident in our program and off of the streets. So, I don't know. I didn't do his enrollment, but yet again, trying to find himself. People still leave even as places as progressive as the UK to come to America for the great American dream.
Yeah, no, I had some conversation, on the apps. It was like Growler, one of those, with a guy who lives in one of these little rural towns, and it was eye-opening to see just how down on himself he was. Like it was really disturbing, and seemed like an intelligent guy. But I had like one conversation with him. I'm just saying, like it feels like he's one of those who would definitely be like running to Atlanta or somewhere out of desperation, really, like the way that he's feeling in the situation where he is. And
we full.
Yeah, it's just it just seems like a setup for a fall. It really does.
It is. A lot of people, and I've said that often. And I've jokingly but seriously, I tell people, every year that we have Labor Day, Atlanta's gay population increases at least by 150 black gay men, and literally but within 2 weeks to 2 months after Pride, they end up homeless because they came here, they hooked up with somebody. They fell in love or whatever. They fell in lust. They did whatever they was going to do. And once the good time was over, whoever they were staying was like, okay, you got to go. Agencies see a real influx of gay men in the city around that time. And I got to tell people, Atlanta, I think, is a city of opportunity. I think it's one of the few cities, even before everything that happened with the pandemic, you could come to Atlanta and make Atlanta really what you wanted to be. But if you just came here to fucking party because you came to visit a couple of times, and that was your experience, then you move here and you go into shell shock because you realize that Bulldogs ain't like it is every weekend like it is during Pride.
Right.
What's funny about that? I was saying, actually, on my birthday is my 4th year anniversary here, and I literally left New York to come down to visit and never went back. And what I'm saying, like, I'm degreed. I'm professional. So, like, and I always tell people, if I'm telling my story, don't do that. Like, what I'm saying? I did it. Yeah. I had a structure here to do it. Right. I have family here to do it. They let me sit around for a week or two until I figure out, But let me tell you, it started off because I was running the damn streets being a whore.
Hey. And then again, if we all had a beginning, that's all I'll say. Right. And as we talked about Kendrick Lamar, they just announced he will be in Atlanta July 30th performing at State Farm.
Yes, and the tickets are $1 gazillion a piece.
I'm sure.
Yeah. A little too. I want to see him live so bad. Now I've seen him live a couple of times, but if you get a chance, do it. But I think I'm a little too old. Now, if I can be blessed and somebody would give me some tickets.
Well, I would see him though at State Farm before I would see him at like a Music Midtown because I'm definitely too old for that shit.
When does the tickets go on sale?
I think Friday. Yeah, Friday. It looks like.
Oh, like day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm glad. Look, I didn't even think about it when you just said it. I was like, well, at the end of the week, but we are at the end of the week, aren't we?
Yeah. You're over the hump. Yes.
Yeah, today is officially, we are over the hump. So,
man, let me tell you something. Y'all can say that. I had so much work to do today. I just stopped doing it and went to lunch. And then I come back to log in. I was like, I'm over it. Like Dr. Patel was like, are you coming back to work? When do you do back at therapy, Jamie?
I actually need to schedule something because I thought I had scheduled, something for next week, but I just looked at my calendar and realized I didn't. So I need to call him and schedule again. I've been seeing him on Tuesdays though. Usually I try to go Tuesdays at, I think it was like 10 or 11, so I can get to work.
I might be up there this Tuesday. I don't know.
Okay.
I got so much shit to do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired. I need to see these tiny homes though, because I might put me one in the backyard.
Well, I'll send you some pictures, but yeah, one day once they get it all set up, I'll take you about it.
And tell your boss if if he needs me to do anything,
Oh no, I've already, because they want to, now that we have a full roster, get back to the classes. So we were just discussing that.
All right, well, let me know. I got the structure in place, and I'm gonna call Dr. And I do have an update on Troy. So we put him on the list, and he's number 3.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a couple of months. I need to call him, tell him that. But yeah, I had to throw.
He's okay for now. Like, he's not in jeopardy. But even with that,
take them dicks and do something with them.
Look, because he said he was getting ready to eat, we just let him have it. Like, and he's in a house full of gay men, so I'm sure they all get a good kick out of it. But I was laughing because I didn't know who they were. And then he was like, "Oh no, those are mine."
Like, whose dicks is these?
Right.
That's horrible.
Whose dicks are on the table?
Who has their dicks on the table?
It feels like a line out of that show. What was it? The one, the spinoff to Big Mouth.
Oh my God, Human Resources.
Yeah, it's like, whose dicks are these? Y'all got
No, I laugh because and I'll send you the picture too. I sent it to some friends, and I was like, "What are these?" And they was like, I said, "What would you?" I said, "I walked into one of my work sites and saw these on the table. What would you have done?" They was like,
Like,
I say only in my field. So
I would have picked up. I mean, there are dicks on this table. Whose dicks?
Right.
Right.
So,
but he is a dirty old man.
He really is. He really is. But he's doing better. I mean, he's okay. So yeah,
frisky as he want to be.
Right. Look, we've all already figured that out. Like, because I'm glad that I have two trans women that go over there to see about him. Because I'm like, if I come over here and find Mr. Troy half naked, we gonna have a whole. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna go find some food. I'll
let you know. I was gonna say I'm gonna see if I can come up next weekend. I'm gonna let you know the details.
I left a posthumous because it's a reservation. So let me know by what's today, Wednesday. Let me know by this Friday because I got a spot open. But
okay, yeah, I'll let you know by tomorrow. That's actually when I wanted to be solid on it. So
okay, well, let me know. I got
okay.
Okay, bro.
Okay,
right, I will see both of you guys later.
All right.
I'll call you later tonight because I gotta tape out Friday.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right.
All right.